So once again, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sheri Rowell. I'm the Western Canadian Account Manager with Stinson ITS. For those of you not familiar with Stinson ITS, our head office is in Concord, Ontario, and I am based out of the Calgary office. Stinson ITS is a division of Stinson Owlite, which has been in the traffic industry since 1960. Stinson ITS was launched 5 years ago in recognition of the exceptional growth in our intelligent transportation system business and our need to specialize to meet the unique demands of the industry. Stinson has partnered with Tapco to provide intelligent warning systems in Canada. I'm joined by Bryan Everard from Tapco. We've been partnered with Tapco for over 8 years in Central and Eastern Canada and for over 2 years in Western Canada. We can provide a number of intelligent warning systems along with the crosswalk treatment products. Tapco is headquartered in Brown Deer, Wisconsin, was founded in 1956, and has earned the respect of municipalities throughout North America as a premier provider of quality traffic products and solutions to the transportation marketplace. So for those of you who don't know me, I joined Stinson ITS 2 years ago, and I've been working with customers throughout Western Canada, introducing our products and solutions. Prior to that, Stinson was not very active in Western Canada. I have been in the traffic industry for coming up to 10 years now. I like to work with our customers to find the right products and solutions for their needs. That could be a crosswalk solution, finding unique ways to power products in the Northern Hemisphere, or working with a production facility to create a warning system for a forklift and truck crossing. I'm not sure if Bryan's mic is working yet. So Bryan's been with Tapco for just about 2 decades now, 20 years, and he knows how to work with the customers to help reduce pain points for the communities across the United States and Canada. There have been 11,461 pedestrian fatalities in Canada since 1989. I once heard a presenter equate fatalities to plane crashes, and that's something that stuck with me. So if you think about the average plane load of 165 people, a Boeing 737, this would be equivalent to 69 plane crashes in the past 30 years. So that's roughly 2.3 plane crashes per year. When I think of pedestrian fatality statistics like that, it gives me a better understanding of just how many people that is. This chart shows fatalities only, but there was also over 10,000 pedestrian injuries reported across Canada in the same time frame. As we can see, the number of fatalities annually has been decreasing, but we're still a long way to go yet to achieve Vision Zero with regard to pedestrians. Let's take a look at some of the factors that play into pedestrian safety. So if we look at the pedestrian, what am I doing that can be a contributing factor to these statistics? Distractions aren't just for drivers. Pedestrians talking or texting reduces their situational awareness. How many times have you watched someone texting step off the curb without looking? I once watched a person texting hit their head on an overhead concrete beam because they were not paying attention to their surroundings. I personally don't step off the curb unless I make eye contact with the driver of the car so I know that he sees me. Impairment with pedestrians. I was a bit surprised that 35% of the pedestrian fatalities have had an alcohol factor. This does tend to be in the more concentrated in urban areas. Weather plays a factor. In the colder weather, dark clothing is often worn by pedestrians. Combine this with more hours of darkness, and this increases vulnerability in the winter months. For the clothing, pedestrians need to be aware they are harder to see at night, and in the winter months, the use of retroreflective clothing, say patches on your arms and legs, takes advantage of the natural movements and helps with the visibility. We also need to recognize that not all pedestrians are the same. We have vulnerable road users. Children less than 14 years old contribute almost 12% of the injury-related deaths. The skills needed to cross the street safely are typically not acquired until between the ages of 9 and 11. Older pedestrians may have limited vision or hearing, slower reaction time, reduced speed of walking, And given the physical fragility of older pedestrians, if there is an impact, that it could be more severe than if it was to a younger person. And with special needs people, we also need to recognize that they may have physical, sensory, and cognitive limitations. The factors that can affect the driver, and as a driver, things that we need to be aware of. So again, distractions, cell phones. Even with distracted driving laws in effect, we can still see people talking and texting all the time. When you take your eyes off the road to text, even for 30 seconds, and you're on a 50-kilometer roadway, you can effectively travel the equivalent of about 4 football fields. That's a significant distance when you're not paying full attention to the road. Impairment under the influence of alcohol and drugs, we know that driver reaction time is delayed. A speeding vehicle traveling 50 kilometers can take up to 37 meters or 120 feet to come to a complete stop, and that's on smooth drive pavement. With weather and visibility, bad roads, bad visibility, we live in Canada. We all know what roads can be like in the winter and how weather can affect visibility. Let's look at what some of the automobile industry is doing to enhance vehicles. Pedestrian detection system, the use of cameras and radar sensors to monitor obstacles in the front of the vehicle, or passive pedestrian safety systems. Vehicles design can play a part in helping to reduce pedestrian injuries and fatalities. Pedestrian airbags on the outside of the car, on the A-pillars, and other unforgiving surfaces on the front of the vehicle. This can help to protect the head of a potential pedestrian. Looking at safer roads, concurrent pedestrian and vehicle movement, reducing or eliminating concurrent movements of vehicles and people. Pedestrian crossing distances. Can we reduce the pedestrian crossing distances, or can we give them a refuge in the middle to stop if they haven't been able to cross in time? Visibility, increasing the visibility of pedestrians at or in crosswalks through better lighting, alerting drivers to the location of crosswalks, and reducing vehicle speeds when approaching a crosswalk. Traffic calming, rumble strips, speed bumps, humps and tables, mini roundabouts, or pavement treatments. These are things that can be done to slow down traffic approaching pedestrian crossings. Some of the countermeasures that can be put into place. Signs, warning signs, blinker signs, advanced warning signs, yield to pedestrian signs. Signals, overhead flashing signals, countdown signals, illuminated signals at crosswalks, signs for pedestrians to watch for turning vehicles. Visibility at the crosswalk, lighting up the actual crosswalk path. Driver education, training by driver instructors. Advice that drivers receive from safety organizations and the police could be oriented to make drivers more aware of pedestrian safety priorities. Raising public awareness is crucial to the success of the safety measures implemented. RRFBs and flashing beacons. Consider the road speeds, the average daily traffic, the number of lanes, and the neighborhood, just to name a few, when determining what is appropriate treatment for the location. Pedestrian education. As we indicated, children need guidance to learn how to safely cross the road. Education in schools, or signage with push buttons to encourage their use, because we know we've seen people just walk out when there is actual push buttons and lights at a crosswalk. So studies have shown the impact to driver yield compliances with the use of different treatments. Crosswalk markings, as you can see by this, they're the most common, but also have the lowest yield compliance. If you add flashing beacons, you're providing improvements, and they're very effective in low traffic volumes. Visibility enhancements. By adding signs and raised medians, you effectively double the yield compliance. So RRFBs, this treatment almost matches the level 1 crossover in compliance, and it typically can be at a lower cost of ownership. Level 1 crossings, these systems offer the best yield compliance, but do tend to be a little bit more expensive. So some examples of the associated costs for an RRFB system. The typical cost of a two-pole RRFB system, including poles and installations. Solar systems, somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. AC systems, $25,000 to $40,000. Hybrid systems, $24,000 to $40,000. And when you look at some of the level 1 crossovers, so special crosswalk systems with continuous power supply, they can be $85,000 and up. So the RRFB system can be a cost-effective solution. We're going to take a look at the City of Calgary's case study, just go over it briefly. In 2012, the City of Calgary undertook an RRFB pilot project. This was a year-long project aimed at determining their feasibility for Calgary. They started with 8 locations at a variety of sites: freeway turn ramps, multi-lane arterial roads, collector and collectors with school zones. The Calgary data shows the RRFBs improve driver behavior and that they are a cost-effective solution for crosswalk treatments. At the end of the 1 year, they extended the pilot until March of 2015 and proposed to install an additional 25 sites in phase 2 of the pilot project. The data showed an increase of 15% on average for motorist yield. One of the things brought to light in the pilot was that road curvature can influence yield compliance, something you might want to take into consideration when you are evaluating a potential site. Overall, with the addition of the RRFB, motorists were more aware of the crosswalk and adjusted their speed accordingly. Phase 1 of the pilot project provided an opportunity to test RRFBs in the Canadian context and garnered a lot of critical information that provided a platform for the study led by TAC in 2014. Calgary worked with TAC to help develop the technical specifications and implementation guidelines for RRFBs across Canada. As a result, the RRFB is now a TAC-approved traffic control device. One of the concerns that did come out of the pilot project was the maintenance and reliability of the solar. Solar has continued to improve, batteries are more reliable, and Tapco has been leading the way with these improvements. Calgary and Tapco also developed a streetlight powered system. Bryan will be talking about that in the next few slides. Stinson ITS has a multi-year contract with the City of Calgary as they continue to utilize the Tapco RRFB system. We are also providing Tapco RRFB systems to the City of Red Deer and several other centers. Bryan, is your mic working now?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Bryan from Tapco to discuss some of the systems and enhancements available.
Thank you, Sheri. Well, good morning, everybody, and I apologize for the delayed introduction. So I've been with Tapco for 18 years. I'm a sales director here and been working with Stinson for almost 10 years now. So going over crosswalk systems that Tapco and Stinson offer usually starts with the warning device. Sheri had talked about, we have the LED perimeter blinker signs. We can do your circular blinker beacons. And what we're focusing on here today is the rectangular rapid flashing beacon. And the reason, again, it's such a hot topic, and Sheri's mentioned some of the data before, is it's tested higher in yield to pedestrian data than any other amber warning device has ever done so in this industry. Besides the warning device, the focus then becomes on how to activate the system, whether it becomes an activation through a ADA or APS push button, or various types of passive detection, whether or not it's a scheduled clock, presence detection, thermal, and we'll kind of go into that here in a second. The nice thing that Stinson and Tapco can offer too are various power options. It's important to note different areas of North America aren't going to all be able to do the same type of solar power. So Stinson and Tapco can offer solar site surveys to make sure you have the proper solar package for your location. So Tapco and Stinson do focus on solar, but we do understand that there's areas where there's larger buildings or tree coverage where it's just not possible, which is why we do offer our AC powered systems, and we offer a streetlight powered system. Again, is what Calgary and Tapco had developed together here a few years ago, so that if you actually want to move into the next slide. focuses on here. So with our streetlight powered system, what we do is we'll take the power off the 277 volt streetlight, which will actually obviously just be on at night, and we'll charge up the battery at night so that the battery is actually continually running the system. So you never have to worry about outages or anything like that. Our batteries have almost 2 weeks of autonomy in it. So again, it's a really nice way to be able to power up the system without having to bring any power to the area and without having to utilize a solar panel. So we have developed this to ensure it works in cold climate areas. The nice thing about Tapco and Stinson is we do work both in northern climates. So Tapco being out of Wisconsin, we understand what the winters are like, and we do need to make sure that we develop systems that work 12 months out of the year. So again, and to these extra systems, these streetlight powered systems and other designs, we can offer a number of different other enhancements as well. As you see in the middle of this slide here, we can add an LED enhanced sign or beacon to go above towards the median and overhead. We do offer some other specialty type of hands-off activations as well, anywhere from thermal detection to infrared walk-through bollards that pedestrians can walk through and activate the system, and very soon to be released a hands-free push button. Go to the next slide.
Thank you, Brian.
I think I got one more for me here. So then the last few enhancements for the Tapco base system, working with Stinson here. Again, I've talked about thermal in the first few different topics. Push button is definitely a much more economical approach to it. But if you do have a situation where you don't think the pedestrians are going to push the button much in that area, again, we offer some great detection. The thermal is the most accurate in the market. In the middle, we have an illuminator that can light up a 2-lane crosswalk system. This will only go on at night, so it's actually has a photo cell inside, and will actually only go on when the push button or sensor is activated. So again, it won't draw a lot of power, so you can use those same type of solar packages. And lastly, connected vehicle. Connected vehicle might not be in your municipality yet, but it's something that's going to hit all of us in the next 3 to 5 years as more smart vehicles are developed. The nice thing about Tapco system is, one, we can offer you a full-blown solution now, but even if you're not ready at this moment, all of our systems are developed to easily add that in the near future. So again, great thing about specifying and starting out your community with a Stinson Tapco RFB system is if you ever want to go to connected vehicle in the near future, very easy add-on to do so. Thanks very much, Sheri.
Thanks, Brian. So I'd just like to take a few minutes to let you know that Stinson has a range of safety and ITS products. We're partnered with some of the leading companies in the traffic industry. MyoVision for intersection control, multimodal detection, traffic, bicycle, and pedestrian counts, optimizing signal timing, some adaptive control, Houston radar, traffic counting devices, including the speed lane and armadillo. We have a variety of smart work zone products, travel time, queue warning. We also have some central software packages that we can work with, the Genetec, Transnomus, and TrafficLink and BlinkLink. Warning systems, the safety devices that we work with Tapco on, in intersection conflict warning systems. So if you're interested in finding out more about any of these systems, please reach out to us. My contact information is on the following slide, or visit our website at stinsonits.ca. Thank you very much for joining us today. Sorry about the little bit of glitches at the beginning of it. If anyone has any questions, you can turn on your mic or you can submit through the chat feature. If you do have any crosswalks that you would like to discuss what type of treatments could enhance the pedestrian and traffic and driver safety, we'd be happy to take a look at the location and offer any advice on which products might be a good fit for that location. Doesn't look like we have any questions coming in. So I'd also like to let you know about our next webinar, which will be on Wednesday, September 9th at 1:30 Eastern. Bryan Everard from Stinson ITS and Melissa Kupovich from MyoVision will be talking about the MyoVision Traffic Link and how they can help improve traffic operations and citizen safety by providing agencies with access to cabinet health and monitoring, performance metrics including ATSPMs and travel time, multimodal detection, continuous counts including pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicles, and pedestrian compliance matrix, and it's all from one platform. We will provide a link to the slide deck and a registration link for our next webinar and a follow-up email. There's a slide included that has a list of references for your information from this presentation. And once again, I'd like to thank you for joining Stinson and Tapco today.